Once you understand how Airbnb rental arbitrage works, you will realize that the people who are bringing in thousands per month, just like this, are the ones that leverage other people's property to save them time and money using the Airbnb platform. Airbnb is a great way to make money, but when it comes to Airbnb arbitrage, you are not using your own property. So for starters, your job is to convince a landlord to allow you to rent their property on Airbnb. Basically, what you do is find a vacant apartment or house and then rent it out on Airbnb. But when it comes to this, there is one problem. Convincing a landlord is not easy. Lucky for you, if you watch this video all the way through to the end, you'll learn not only how to talk to landlords about rental arbitrage, but I'll give you all the responses you need to convince a landlord to give you the green light on renting out their place on Airbnb. When you start Airbnb rental arbitrage, you'll need to be able to answer the questions that your landlords will ask. Knowing how to communicate will make navigating the situation much easier, and building a good relationship with your landlord will help smooth out the process. So without wasting any time, follow these tips when talking to a landlord about Airbnb arbitrage. Number 1. Get familiar with rules and regulations. The first step is to get familiar with the lease agreement that is handed out by your landlord. This document could have a lot of information about what you can and cannot do in your rental property. So it's important to read it carefully and ask questions if anything doesn't make sense to you. Not only that, but you also need to understand the landlord's perspective on renting out their home for short-term stays, especially if this is something new to them or a new type of business venture together. If they're okay with hosting on Airbnb, that's perfect. But if they aren't comfortable with it or don't want any short-term guests at all, or even worse, if they feel like Airbnb is infringing on their rights as landlords, then there might be some friction between the two of you at some point down the road. That's why you need to understand that landlords are people too. We all have emotions, right? And if you've seen any of our older videos, you'll know that treating everyone with respect is vital when it comes to real estate. They have their own concerns and interests just like you do. Your landlord may be concerned about the security of their property, noise levels coming from your rental unit, or other issues like damage to the property or even the reputation of their building in the neighborhood. If you're serious about renting out your Airbnb rental arbitrage unit long-term and doing it right, then it's important to understand where your landlord is coming from and how they feel about this type of arrangement in general. So first off, if you've just discovered this channel, you should know that every week we upload new videos related to this subject. Therefore, if you want to stay updated, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Now let's keep going. Number 2. Write an email introducing yourself and asking for a meeting. This step requires sending out a polite email to the landlord talking about yourself and your company, if you have one, and why you're interested in their unit. If you have any connections or experience that would be valuable for them to know, mention it in your email. Once you've introduced yourself and your company, it's time to talk about the property. Ask if you can take a look at their unit, and if they're interested in meeting to discuss what you could do for them. Now, when meeting with the landlord, introduce yourself and shake hands. Then ask if they are interested in talking about their property. If they are not, don't try to push it, at least not right now. Try again later or leave them your business card so they can contact you later if they change their mind. You should also try to introduce yourself as an expert in short-term rental management, which is typically handled by full-time employees at the company where you work. This will help demonstrate why it's worth their time to hear what you have to say because you're already familiar with how the industry works from first-hand experience within your organization. Number 3. Ask if they have heard this before. If you have a landlord who is aware of Airbnb and has never had any issues with tenants renting their apartment out on the platform, that's great. However, you can also ask if they have ever heard of other tenants using the apartment as an Airbnb rental, and if they like it or not. If your landlord responds positively to this question, let them know that you're interested in doing the same thing. It doesn't hurt to ask for permission first. I mean, obviously it's their property, and they don't have to give it to anyone, especially for these reasons. If there are no objections from your landlord about what kind of tenant will rent the place through Airbnb, then ask how often will the monitoring of the properties be while it is being rented. Number 4. Make your intentions clear. The next thing to do is inform your landlord about what Airbnb is, how it works, and how much money you can make from it. Explain to them that Airbnb is a website where people rent out their homes, apartments, or rooms for travelers looking for affordable accommodations. Explain to them that you can make hundreds of dollars per month by renting out your house on Airbnb. Share with them some success stories of other Airbnb hosts who have made thousands of dollars each month through this method. And trust me, that can easily be done right here on YouTube. You also have to make it clear that you do not intend to live in the apartment yourself. You are purely renting it to rent it out on Airbnb. As a landlord, he or she will want to see that you have an exit plan. They don't want to be stuck with someone who has no intention of living in the apartment. So it is important that you are clear about this and how you intend to make money from it. You can do this by stating your business plan up front. Tell them how much time you want the apartment for, why you chose their property, such as location or amenities, what your goals are as a landlord, and how they can benefit from working with Airbnb rental arbitrage partners like yourself. Not only that, but you need to tell them you intend to pay rent on time each month and that you will guarantee payment in advance. The best way to earn their trust is by being honest about your plans and intentions. You don't want to waste any time trying to convince them that you're not a scammer, so be clear with what you will be doing with the apartment. If possible, offer a guarantee of payment in advance as well. Keep watching because in a minute I'll tell you my easy method on dealing with common objections landlords will try to throw at you. But first, hit the subscription button and give this video a thumbs up so it can be spread to more people. Number 5. Listen and be open to suggestions. Listening is the most important part of this process. As you talk to your landlord, be open to their suggestions and be flexible. Don't just listen for the sake of hearing them out. Take time to understand their point of view. They have concerns about what might happen if an Airbnb renter moves into their property, so make it clear that you understand and will consider those concerns. Also give them time to think about it before making a decision. Number 6. Dealing with common objections. The number one mistake you can make when talking to a landlord is not being prepared. If your landlord asks any questions about your profile, so be ready with answers. You need to be confident, honest, respectful, and professional. If the landlord asks if you have any pets or what kind of people will be living in the unit, be honest with him or her because it could lead to something good or bad. You don't want anyone getting kicked out because they lied on their application, so make sure you fill out everything correctly. Be patient too. This is a process that may take days or even months depending on when they get back to you. Under the circumstance that they don't know anything about this at all, this next step will help you with persuasion. But before that, if you haven't liked this video yet, kindly give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Life of a Landlord, so that you're updated every time we upload life-changing content. Number 7. Persuasion is your only tool. In this particular situation, you have to be persuasive. You need to understand their point of view and listen to them. In other words, you have to be open-minded and willing to negotiate. I cannot stress this enough. Patience is key when it comes to persuading landlords. They make a lot of decisions every day, and answering every question can be time-consuming. It's best if you allow them time in between conversations so that they can run things over, as well as get back with you if they don't have an answer right away or are unsure about something. The point is, the key to a successful conversation here is persuasion, not manipulation or bullying. There's no way around the fact that you have no legal right to get your landlord to hand over his property for long-term rental unless he voluntarily agrees. But if you show him how he can benefit, then there's a good chance he might just do so. Do you have any questions in mind? Just ask them in the comments section below. This next video will explain exactly how to start a rental arbitrage business from start to finish. So if you found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up button so it can be spread to more people. So click the video on the screen now and I'll see you in the next one.